We already wanted to work with an orchestra on stage for a long time, because in the studio, of course, we worked all the time with orchestras, almost every album from '98 with Blue Golden Power Milk, our second album, we started working with orchestras in the studio. But of course, on stage, it's not always that easy to have like 45 extra people. So it took us like 16 years to finally kind of like find the right people to do it, and now we organized one gig in Belgium with orchestra, and then it became 2, 3, 4, 5, and then finally it was 6 sold-out shows. And we thought like, well, we gotta record the kind of arrangements we made for these shows. We just can't like, you know, like we can't just play these shows and not have something that like, you know, has like, you know, sort of like for the history, we wanted like a document, you know. So we recorded the show in one day in a studio in Belgium. So we had the orchestra, the band, and me singing live. And we started at 9 in the morning and we ended up at 9 in the evening, and we mixed it in 4 days. So, well, actually, when we started touring with Noemi, we, you know, like we thought of this set list. And when we wanted to play with the orchestra, we thought like we shouldn't change the set list because we're playing with an orchestra. We should play what's important to us right now in 2012, you know. So that's why there's quite a lot of songs from the night before on the orchestral album, because, you know, like that's also what is now at this moment important to us. So it's a mix of that, and of course all the old songs, the classics, hits and stuff. So we wanted to make a good mix of that, and that's what it is. And of course, when you make 7 studio albums and you have to decide what to play, it's always difficult, because it's always a bit like kill your darlings, because everybody said like, yeah, but maybe we should play that song or this song or that. And but at some point you also have to think about the audience, you know, like people who come and watch the show, and you have to think like, what do they want to hear? So it's always a combination of what we want to play, what they want to hear, and try to kind of like, you know, make a good kind of like, you know, balance of that. Happiness is actually a song that we recorded for the album for the night before, and we always have that. We always record like more songs, and there's always one song that doesn't make it to the album because it's not really fitting in, you know, like it's a good song, but it's not really like fitting in the whole picture of the album. And Anger Never Dies was like that, you know. We wrote Anger Never Dies already a long time ago in 2005. It was supposed to be on No More Sweet Music, but it didn't fit in, you know, with the whole big orchestral work that No More Sweet Music was. It was like a bit too kind of like different. And Happiness was the same. We recorded for the night before. We kind of thought it wasn't really kind of fitting. And then when we wanted to record the new album, we said like, yeah, well, we need one extra track, you know, some new track. It's for the fans. It's really fun to have a new track. And actually, when we played it with the orchestra and everything with the orchestra, it fitted in very well, much better. And that's the fun bit as well about the orchestra album, is that basically it kind of gives you an impression of all the hits we wrote, but they're very eclectic, our hits, you know. We started off as an electronic band. We're now more like a film kind of pop band, whatever you want to call it. And if you put all these hits, you know, together on an album, it's kind of a weird, eclectic kind of thing. And now with the orchestra album, we made it like, you know, we play all the songs in one universe. When you play the album, it's really taking you on a trip down memory lane. We're always working on new stuff, but now we already have some stuff, but this summer we're gonna start writing on some more stuff, and we're gonna try to make a new album by the end of 2013, but you never can tell because it's a process. We now have like quite some good songs already, but then when you start writing, maybe we go completely different direction, and you never know what it's gonna be like. So that's the fun bit about what we do. You always know where you start. You never know where you're gonna end up, you know. And for some people, it probably is like the worst nightmare. But that's just the thing that we like about what we do, you know. It's like it's a big question mark. The next album, I think, you know, it's gonna be more about Noemi's voice, because, you know, if you look at it, we started 2 years ago, I think. Well, we were released the night before in Belgium in November 2010. And when you listen to the night before and you listen now to the orchestra album, you can also already hear a huge kind of like evolution in how she sings, because when she started in 2010, she never sang in a band, so she was really like new. So the vocal is gonna be the main thing for the next record, you know. Already for the Hooverphonic with orchestra, it's like that, and that's not gonna be different, you know. And that's what I also said back in 2010. I said like we're releasing the night before, and this is just a beginning, you know. It's just like a beginning of a new path, and
the future will be very interesting. That's for sure.